Welcome to Theological Grazing.
I think it's really important for everyone, but particularly those who are engaged in some kind of intellectual work or, working online or something like that, to regularly be engaging in the physical world. Whether that be gardening or raising livestock, whether that be building something, whether that be some kind of, art, whether it be, working on your car, doing some kind of mechanic work. Working in the physical world is something that in many ways we've kind of removed ourselves from. We live in a very Gnostic time, and, there are these ideas that, you can be whatever you want and do whatever you want, because we're so disconnected from something that's outside of us, like the physical world. But working in the physical world in any of these ways or in any others, maybe this would be, just getting more involved in some kind of sport or athletic competition. Whatever it might be, you are forced up against the reality that there is something outside of you. And what happens is you can come to the world with ideals, right? This is how I think things should be. This is what I think is fair and right and the way things ought to happen. But when you're doing actual, physical work in the world, that just isn't always the case. Sometimes the weather doesn't cooperate with you. Sometimes you might want things a certain way, but because of the way they are, they won't change for you. So being engaged in some way in the physical world, especially when you're, somebody who you spend most of your time at a computer, or, engaging in some kind of philosophical, intellectual pursuit. I think this is great for pastors, by the way. I think that pastors, instead of, simply studying all the time, really ought to be engaged physically doing something, building something. I think it's just good for, kind of mental health and growth. I think it's just good to have something physical when you're just dealing with, intellectual things, or, reading, studying, writing, as well as just people things, right? You're dealing with people. Okay, well, that too. Like, it's great to just get out and, chop wood, or, work in the garden, or, butcher an animal, go hunting, those sorts of things. I think doing something physical is just helpful. Go out fishing. But again, when you do these things, what happens is you can have an ideal of the way you want things to be, but it will not always work out that way. And it forces you to come to the place where you recognize, okay, I'm not fully in control. I'm not sovereign. I have some control. I have some power, but I don't have all of it. I have some knowledge, but I definitely don't have all of it. I have the ability to do things, but I am extremely limited. It forces you to recognize reality, the way things really are. There's something outside of you that you have to conform yourself to. I think we get too easily wrapped up in our own heads. And I think that one thing that you could do is also try, I think, to make it something that's not just dealing with things that are man-made. It's not wrong. I think it's great to, I said being, working some mechanical problem in your car, right? You're trying to fix your car. This is great. I think this is really good. But maybe it would be better even to do something like, whether it be gardening, or, trying to work with some livestock, or go out hunting or fishing, something where it's not, you're not just dealing with something that another person made. You're dealing with nature. with creation. I think when you do that, even more so, maybe not more so, maybe that's not the right way to put it, but in a different way, in a particular and specific way, this teaches you that, man, there's so much that I don't get, that I don't understand, that I'm limited in, and that you need to work to conform yourself to it. And I think this is really helpful when we have such a Gnostic, dichotomized world where we can get into our own heads and just stay there. But you can come up with a lot of ideas in your head that when they work themselves out in the real world are completely different. And it's important to recognize that. This is one way that you can.
Well, that's all, folks. If you could help me out, rate and review this podcast, share it with a friend, go ahead and email me if you have any questions. We're out.